Even an island paradise can use a little sprucing up now and then, especially when visitors are expected. And in this case, it's not just a few visitors, there's going to be thousands of them. When the international cruise line P&O started visiting the tiny island of Walla in Vanuatu, it seemed as if a vein of gold had been opened.
Oh, there we go.
Each time a ship visits, Walla Islanders are supposed to get the lion's share of anchorage and landing fees amounting to thousands of dollars.
Well, sir, grab your wife for a second. Let's get one, man. Smile for me, guys. Thanks a lot.
And there's money to be made from trinkets, souvenirs, and what's reputedly the best intoxicating brew in the whole Pacific. What's more, Australian aid through AusAid has put in more than $800,000 to help improve facilities on Walla and 2 other islands that P&O cruisers visit. So today, Walla has a cyclone-proof, Aussie-built public toilet block with running water and septic system. For tourist use only, of course.
So this toilet was built in last year.
It's an irony that doesn't escape island leader Malili.
The foreigner used this toilet.
Built by foreigners, for the use of foreigners.
Yes. We would like to have also like this.
Yeah.
For the community.
By some estimates, Walla's 5 communities should have raked in around $500,000 from cruise ships.
This belongs to community of Ama. And,
while showing off the island's pristine attractions, Cami says islanders had hoped that that sort of money would bring improvements to everyone's lives.
The first thing, we want good health in these villages, and electricity, and water, and good toilet in every homes.
But over 10 years, the only evidence of development is the basic water system beside the graveyard. And that only supplies the tourist toilets on the waterfront.
From the start of the cruise ships, the money been a little bit used, and it's not a proper used. Yeah, one chiefs, they said, okay, another chiefs, and then, okay, another committee, that's another one. Not a proper person to use the money.
For all the dreams, the tourist dollar has changed island life barely at all.
Papida, this is where I live.
Like Cami's family, 3 generations usually share a little compound.
This is my house, and I have 2 sons stay with me, and I have 9 grandchildren. House for sleeping here, and this is the kitchen with my wife, and inside for cooking. And this is the restroom that we can heat inside. Yeah, it's dining room.
They collect rainwater. There's no gas to cook with. Some have small generators, but often no fuel. Most get by with a couple of cheap portable solar lights. Cami reckons that if the tourists can have nice public toilets, then it's probably time the villagers did too.
It's good to have tourist toilet, and community toilet will be the same.
So you want some community toilets, same sort of thing?
Same sort of things like a tourist have.
And maybe with showers as well, or just...
Shower inside also.
Yeah. So public health system?
Public health system. Yeah. So you have good toilet, good health, yeah, for everyone.
So what happened to the money from the cruise ships and to all the improvements that people hoped for? It's a question islanders have trouble answering.
Hello.
Flavian Lelecte and his wife run one of the many little stalls that open when a ship arrives. As a young island chief, he's part of a new committee set up to find out just what's gone wrong.
Keep the change.
Thank you.
That's okay.
Where is the money now?
I don't know, maybe someone stealing on the off-road, or maybe, I don't know, because I'm always here. Maybe someone left here, go to villa, going to office. Really amazing.
And took your money.
Yes.
Who do you think this was?
Maybe some people.
Do you not want to say? You don't want to use anybody's name?
Yes.
So by using a special kind of magic, the boys gonna perform you how they carrying this small boy like this on the lake while cavalry.
The fact is, tourist dollars have driven division, distrust and dishonesty into a community of mainly subsistence farmers with no experience of dealing with the cash flow.
I'll give you a kingdom on that. Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
So are there lots of arguments about money and who has the money and where the money is and who should spend it?
Oh, yes. Of course.
Autrement, je peux rien dire.
Vous ne savez pas.
Non, je peux pas.
Mais
Je ne savais pas, mais je peux pas dire.
Jean-Yves Malaire heads the new tourist committee that hopes to discover how much has been squandered, how much stolen.
Rapport depuis de 2004 à 2012, c'est jamais enlevé. Donc c'est ça que je peux rien dire à propos du comité passé.
The sad truth is that Walla's woes are a microcosm of the nation. While Vanuatu clings tenaciously to its cultural integrity, there's little integrity in public life. Politicians have even stooped to black magic to bring down opponents. Meanwhile, ineptitude, cronyism and out-and-out corruption run so deep that even recently elected Prime Minister Moana Carcasses admits it's endemic.
People used to say that the politicians were corrupt, but now it's everywhere. It's the civil servants are corrupt. Everyone is corrupted.
Why?
Well, I don't know. It's I guess people were not punished. My government will make sure that whoever break the law, if you are caught, you're going to go to a court and you're going to be punished.
And does that apply to ministers, to
Everyone.
government officials?
And also the one who bring the carrots, the private sector.
From the impoverished outer islands to Afete and the capital, Port Vila. It's where the money and the power lies in Vanuatu. It's also where you look for answers about what went wrong. So this is
Walter Lenny, the first Prime Minister, and on his right is me, the First Minister of Land.
Memories of hope.
Hope, that's right, exactly, yes.
Sethi Regenvanu was one of the leaders who fought French and British colonialism to win independence in 1980 for what was then the New Hebrides.
But the government from independence up to 12 years was a very good government.
12 good years.
12 good years.
What's happened since then?
I think what has happened was that the people who did not share that belief that we had, who were not party to that drive that we had, came into play. And they saw the opportunities that were before them as an independent country. And they wanted to maximize the opportunity for their own benefit, personal benefit and so on.
Here in Tesariki, an upscale suburb of the capital, is a good example of what Sethi Regenvanu is talking about. A former government minister issued prime waterfront leases to favourite members of his department at knockdown prices, and never a thought for the villagers who live around such prime sites.
They become vulnerable to outside manipulation, business interests. But today I think the outsiders have exploited the personal private interests to the extent that people no longer pursue the interests of the nation and people of this country, as they should, in my view.
The Prime Minister may have promised to clean up the act, but many say they've given up expecting anything at all of their government. They feel Vanuatu's now just a marketplace for the highest bidders, over the counter or under it. And the buyers are all foreigners, Chinese, Australians, anyone but islanders.
Hemi give him power. Local communities blowing me blow you work together, blowing me build him nation here, Vanuatu.
There is evidence that some islanders, at least, are trying to seize back control of their future.
So this time we want them blow give him one challenge blowing me today.
Barnabas Tabi is in Port Vila to preach islander self-reliance and to encourage indigenous business development.
The word of God.
To see what Barnabas is trying to achieve, I sail 130 sea miles north from Port Vila to his rain-shrouded home island of Pentecost. Government plans for a port or jetty to serve the islanders have come to naught. The ferry service is expensive and unreliable. The hand-carried cement bags are for Barnabas, to be hauled up a mountain, through the jungle, to build a dream. Barnabas has spent decades persuading isolated villagers to resettle on the roadside, the core of the little city he can so clearly envisage.
There's one of the shop here, on my left.
This is our school here, where kids come to school.
You need a pretty bold imagination to keep up with him. Instead of this shattered track, imagine a thriving regional centre bustling with business from all the nearby islands, no longer dependent on Port Vila for goods and services. It's what Barnabas has in mind.
18 offices, yeah, we're going to have 18 offices here. And this system here will be the governing system.
When will it open?
Hopefully maybe sometime this year, the end of this year. And the system we're going to set up is that we start from down the bottom, then on to, up to the top.
Bottom up.
Bottom up. Because the government now is setting up his administration from the top to the bottom. But I see that it can't work because we've been independent for 33 years and nothing happened for the rural people.
To kickstart the whole project and encourage small business, Barnabas launched the nation's first microfinance cooperative.
This is the place where people come and do their banking.
Good morning to Vala.
This is the financial institution. Now at the moment we have more than 1,000 people, members now. But we find it very difficult for local people to do banking with the local banks here because the policies are too hard for new vans to follow, you know. We find it difficult, so we start the one which is very easy for new van to come and do banking.
The first loan went to a grower of Pentecost carver root, the island's major export. It's on its way to Port Vila, where the grower, Noel Malang, has invested Barnabas's loan into one of the capital's most popular carver bars.
Me meeting say me could too much. From where long all farmer or all man Pentecost or people from Pentecost. Me first man where me vala look say me come up long help me vala long small something where me make him. So say me vala support him. One way me tell me vala support him full one.
Noel's wife and daughter are now a part of the business. The loan has been repaid and the profits go back to Pentecost. These are small beginnings indeed. But Vanuatu needs to start somewhere if it's going to build an economy that no longer relies on foreign aid. It's an approach that gives hope to leaders old and new.
I like the message. I like the message. He needs support.
Don't wait for the government. You know, that famous quote will say from GFK, you know?
Yes. Yes.
Don't ask what the government can do for you, but what you can do for your government. I'm glad that this person has understood that.
Back on Walla, islanders are trying to take the future into their own hands. There's hope yet, but the hard-earned tourist dollar may bring them the things they need, like a little primary school, so children don't spend their first years crossing the water every day. Meanwhile, when the tourists have returned to their ships, The doors to the island's pride and joy, its toilet block, are locked until the next foreign invasion.